You have enemies. Do not lie to yourself. Some stare you down openly, others stay hidden, waiting for weakness. You think you understand them, but your ignorance is their advantage. Miyamoto Musashi knew this centuries ago. Those who refuse to understand their enemies will fall to them. He did not survive by strength alone, but by mastering the art of deception and control. Musashi knew ignorance is the enemy's greatest advantage. What if your enemy's weakness is hiding right in front of you? You are being outmaneuvered because you only see from your perspective. The betrayal you never expected, the competition you underestimated, the opponent whose every move feels like a surprise. It all comes from one truth. You are blind to what they see. You think like yourself. They think like your enemy. Musashi knew this flaw would destroy men. In his Fire Book of the Five Rings, Musashi wrote that a warrior must become the enemy. He trained his mind to walk in their fears, their frustrations, their beliefs. It was not enough to see the battlefield. You had to see it through their eyes. Only then could you find their blind spots, their weakness, their undoing. You face enemies every day, co-workers, rivals, liars, manipulators. Begin your next move from their perspective, not yours. Your blindness is the sword they will use to cut you down. You cannot defeat what you refuse to understand. Seeing the enemy's perspective is only the first step. What comes next? How often have you missed a hidden intention until it was too late? The friend who turned on you, the boss who sabotaged you, the partner who was not what they seemed. Their mask stayed on because you let it. Musashi described a method to strip an enemy's disguise, the moving shadow technique. When you cannot see their plan, provoke them. Make a bold movement, a calculated feint, something that forces a reaction. When the frost cracked on their mask, Musashi saw their intent beneath. That was when he struck. This is not just for battle. It is for the boardroom, relationships, politics. If you sit silently, waiting, you will always be surprised. If you act decisively, you will force every hidden enemy to reveal their game. Hesitation does not uncover the truth. Aggression does. Do not wait for masks to fall. Tear them off. Now that the enemy is exposed, how do you gain absolute control? You are losing because you let others dictate the game. At work, in your ambitions, even in conflict, you are reacting. They play, you respond. They lead, you follow. Musashi would call this death. Musashi mastered what he called the three initiatives. Sen no sen, to strike before the enemy moves. Go no sen, to counterattack after their move. And sen sen no sen, the most advanced, striking their intention before it becomes action. In his duels, he was never caught off guard because he controlled the rhythm. He dictated the pace. This is how you must live. Anticipating instead of reacting, reading intent instead of waiting for results. The boardroom, the wage negotiation, the personal betrayal, they are all battles of initiative. The one who controls the rhythm controls it all. If you are not choosing the game's tempo, you are already losing. There is no victory for those who only react. What happens when your enemy cannot trust their own senses anymore? You are predictable. Whether you know it or not, your enemy sees your patterns, your timing, your rhythm. They know when you rise, when you falter, and where the gaps in your armor lie. You are locked in time and space, and they control the clock. Musashi understood this. In every battle, he shattered the enemy's reality. A sudden shout at the wrong time, a strike from a blind angle, a deliberate pause that made them question what was coming next. He disrupted their mental models of the fight. They could not trust their senses, and that made them vulnerable. Your enemy is watching your rhythm right now. Break it. Send an email at midnight. Arrive earlier than expected. Pause when you usually press. Force them to question what they thought they knew about you. Predictability is a prison. Break the bars. Confusion is the first knife. Trust nothing. Doubt everything. Predictability is a prison. Shatter the clock. If this one hit you, you already know why. It is about to get worse. Your worst mistake is giving space to your enemy. You think it is over. You think they need time to recover. What you do not see is the danger you just created. Musashi never gave his enemies that space. His sticking technique was simple, brutal, and absolute. Once engaged, stay close. Smother them. Suffocate them. Deny them the air to breathe or the distance to think. An enemy without space has no options, no freedom, and no future. You do this in life all the time. You give your rival room to regroup. You step back when the pressure needs to crush them. Stop. Close the gap. Be relentless. Suffocate the threat before it resurfaces. Proximity is power, and power is final. Musashi taught this for combat, but its truth is universal. If you give them room, you give them life. And if you give them life, you deserve your defeat. Proximity is power. Suffocation wins wars. You have felt the pressure build. Now see how Musashi ended the fight before it began. You think battles are fought when the swords clash, but you could not be more wrong. Battles are won in the mind. Musashi proved this on Ganryu Island when he faced Sasaki Kojiro. Kojiro was younger, faster, and armed with the fearsome Monohoshizao blade. Musashi arrived late, disheveled, and carrying a crude wooden sword carved from an oar. Every single detail was designed to enrage and unbalance Kojiro. When the fight finally began, the outcome had already been decided. Kojiro was defeated before he ever swung his blade. You are losing wars right now because your enemy owns your mind. They make you react. They make you emotional. You show up to the fight already beaten. Stop. Prepare the battlefield before the first shot is fired. Control their psychology. Make them fight you on your terms or not at all. The deadliest weapon is the one they never see coming. The deadliest weapon is the enemy's own mind. Musashi's teachings are not just strategies of war. They are revelations about the nature of conflict itself. Every enemy is first defeated in the mind, yours or theirs. By stepping into their perspective, breaking their rhythm, suffocating their options, and manipulating their psychology, you gain something far greater than victory. Control. Deception is not about lies. It is about crafting realities where your opponent loses before the battle begins. Musashi's warning is clear. If you do not master the art of deception, you will become its victim. The greatest weapon is not the sword, but the mind wielding it. The enemy loses the war before they draw their blade. Your enemies are closer than you think, and your blindness is their advantage. See the game for what it is, not what you wish it was. Subscribe for more ancient wisdom. Master the mind, and you master the war.